Greetings. I'm Johnny Scoville, and this is After the Burn. Spicy Jen, Lisa Trimble, Dean, my dude, Jeremy Fowler, Chili Phil. Some great people here. Do me a favor. This is going to be a really fun one. This is going to be a fun interview. So do me a favor. Hit the like button. Let's see how many chili heads we can get watching this. This is going to be a fun one. If you have comments for myself or for Left Eye Pat, then please throw some capital C's in there ahead. If you want me to read it, it'll catch my attention. And what I'll do is I'll flag it. And then as we go, we'll touch on them. If you have questions for myself or for Left Eye Pat, throw capital Q's in front of it, and I will flag it again. And we'll make sure we ask them. Hi, Keith, Krista Melinda, Wes Lightburn, Noah, good to see you. All right, so before we go into the interview, a couple bits of housekeeping. Tomorrow we've got the Bus Pass live stream. So if you got a Bus Pass, you want to make sure you're in tomorrow. I don't know if you guys remember, I had a terribly embarrassing story, hospital story that I was going to tell. You guys remember that? I wrote it down. I didn't forget. And I'm going to tell that story. It's an embarrassing one. We'll talk about that one tomorrow on the Bus Pass. Hi, Brian. Then we're rolling into the weekend. We got the Capsaicin Connection Saturday and Sunday. And we're going to be doing Bus Pass live streams all weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So if you got a Bus Pass, it's a good weekend to have one. All right. So now, hi, Brock. Good to see you. Hello, Angel. Good to see you. Matt Evo. Hello there. All right, so my guest tonight he's great. It's a fantastic guy. He's a very prominent dude in the chili community. He's loved by a lot of people. He's loved around the world, really. Spreads wide and far. We'll talk about that. Just a terrific guy. You know what's great? There are some people, they're positive forces, and like one of those people that just is a positive force, and when you have an interaction, you walk away from it feeling good, feeling better. It's just how it works with him. And that is Left Eye Pat. So without any further ado, and by the way, I got some really great, funny personal experiences with this guy. So he's like a real friend. This is going to be a fun one. Without further ado, here is Mr. Left Eye Pat. What do you say, Pat? How are you, dude?
Dude, I'm well. I'm surprised. Thanks for the offer on this. And thanks for the kind words. I don't know if they were all true.
They were all true. And you know what? As we go through it, people watching are going to know. They're going to know. And you know what? I didn't say anything that wasn't the truth. You're loved around the world. You know you are.
I'm not a pillar. I'm not. I don't think as many. Nobody knows me. Very few.
Can I tell you something? That's exactly how somebody that's a pillar would answer that question. That's how it is. No, it is. It's just typical. It's perfect. All right. So, we go back. We've had a lot of fun together. We've hung out together a lot of times.
Yes.
Many different places.
Yeah.
Really had fun. I want to find out from you, how did this happen? What was your introduction to the chili world? Where did that begin? How did it start?
Like the very first experience. I mean, my first experiences with the chili world, like, they were horrifying because I was a kid. But 2019 rolled around, and I somehow, my memory's terrible. You know this, so I'm terrible with dates. I couldn't tell you. I just know 2019. I know I came across your channel. And I started watching something, and I'm like, man, I wonder if I could do that. You know what I mean? Like, I've got that sort of personality. So, in between that and like, I think these all kind of came together at once. It was you, Shahina was a big, huge one. And then I found League of Fire through that, like, because they all work together. You know what I mean? So, and then from there, I think I was watching you, and I was building tolerance. Like, you had just done some Hellfire sauces, and it was when the Hellboy sauce line came out.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And I got that as this was going to be there's 4 bottles and 4 increasingly hotter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So I'm going to go that route. And so I started building my tolerance, and then got to the point where I thought I could, I'm ready to do a challenge. And the Pocky chip, the first Pocky, or I think it was the second Pocky chip. Maybe, I don't know. I threw all the boxes away, but yeah, I was at my friend's house, and I'm like, I'm going to do this tonight. And started the YouTube thing, and I ate two of them after the first. I'm like, all right, this is it. I could do a couple, and it was probably one of my best videos because I showed the aftermath of me on the floor in the bathroom. So I'm like,
Boy,
get my phone.
let's make sure we one of the some of the wrench can put Pat's channel up. You've had how many? You've had some experience. Something like the calf cramps are vicious. What was the worst calf cramps you've ever had? Because here's the thing, you've done a lot of challenges, man. You really have.
Yeah.
What's the worst night of calf cramps you've ever had?
The very worst, hands down, was that roulette. I think Dan Reed's roulette challenge, where he had, it's like, I think 6 bottles, like little 1-ounce bottles maybe of five were blanks, but they weren't really blanks either. There was still some heat to them,
Right.
enough so that when you drank them, they build up. And the whole challenge was cool because, like, once you got the loaded shot, you were done. So if you were lucky enough to hit that first run and you know what I mean, go through it, you were done. But I ended up going through the whole damn thing until the very last one was the loaded one, and that one, I mean this, it gave me PTSD, dude. Like, I had 24 hours it took for that to kind of go away. It was just the worst, and that actually stopped me from, like, I suffered so bad that I kind of like it put me in that place.
You kind of pulled the plug on it for a little bit and kind of taper things back.
Dude, it was something that I never wanted to go through again. So
you know what? It's funny you say that. When you were telling the story, you did this. You're like, you shook your head. It's like you could tell, anybody watching could tell that you went there. It's really funny that you mentioned PTSD, though, because honest to goodness, it's a real thing. I guarantee you. I'm looking at the people in the chat. I know that Tad's got it. I know that Dee's probably had it. I know that Brock's had it. Fowler's had it. There's a bunch of people, Chili Phil, that undoubtedly have had that PTSD from that wicked experience. But the first time you get them is unreal, right? And
nobody told me about them. So, like, when I did those pockets,
nobody told me about them.
Nobody did. I knew nothing about aftermath. So I just figured you burned and you were done, and like it would go away. Like, nobody told me about the next day, going to the bathroom. Nobody
told me about them.
So
no.
Like, I probably heard about the calf cramps. Definitely not the digestion part, but yeah, when they hit, like, it's a pain. It's just different, man. It is like, you'd be amazed how you can fold your body.
It sucks the joy out of your life. Every bit of joy and happiness while you're going through it. It's just like, it sucks everything positive out of you. And it's just like the worst thing, man. And so it took 24 hours for you, huh? Now,
that one, and I've never had anything that long. I had 3 and 4 hours, then with, like, a couple 15-minute deals, like, throughout the night, but nothing that was like that. I mean, I was stuck. I was done, and that was during the time where I got I was involved in, like, testing the new challenges. So I don't even know if that one had been out yet. It was
that's like being a crash test dummy for chili production, man. It's brutal.
I don't even know. Jiff always hosted these, because they were behind the scenes stuff, and I gave that man more belly laughs for my suffering.
And he's funny. He's a sick man. I love him. He is, awesome. Man. Do you remember when we were? By the way, Dilrod, thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much. Got a couple questions, one from Noah and one from Lisa in just a moment. But we had fun remember in San Diego?
Oh yeah.
When we were, remember how diabolical Jif was see, here's what happened, guys. We were doing this contest and it was just a sick contest. But the problem is we had a really limited number of peppers. So we were like, had to really carefully count them out because we had just enough. And then when somebody would go out, it freed up some pods that we weren't expecting. So we were like, each time somebody would go out, Jif was just like, "Woo, ah." Just the
Remember,
joy.
those that contest had shot rounds in it, like
Oh,
two
I remember
rounds of
that.
shots. And I was filling the shots, and I left like a little bit at the top so it wouldn't spill.
Oh,
Thank you, but I feel bad. I
all
subscribe.
right.
I appreciate it. There's content there, but it's old. And he's like,
We're
"No,
gonna
man,
drive
fill
you
them
to
all
make
the
more.
way to the top."
We're gonna force you to make more content, Pat.
you
So,
know, it. I started. I loved it, and then I started doing lives in like chili groups.
well,
You know what I
you
mean?
keep doing the lives though, because they're great. So, Chili Phil said, "I when I ate 3 1-chip challenges, I cramped up really bad, almost called 911." Um, Listen, we've all been there, man. I think most of us
Yeah.
probably have. In fact, Chili Phil also previously said that cat cramps are horrible. He puked last night after the Golden Primatali. I should have prepped better. But a
Yeah.
quick question from Lisa Trimble. She says, when you were a kid, Pat, did you groove on spicy stuff as a young kid?
No. And I blame my grandfather for that.
Oh, there's a story there. Let's have it.
I mean, and let me preface this by saying my grandpa's tattooed on my arm. I love that man. He's a huge, huge, huge reason for me even being here right now. So, but that
That
said,
said,
he was a he was a practical joker. You know what I mean? Like he just was that guy until the day he died. But I'd come over here when I was a kid. I was lucky enough to live within bike ride distance. So we were in the same city as my grandparents. And so I'd ride my bike over. I'd stay the night here all the time. I spent a lot of time here. I was lucky that way to be able to spend time with my grandparents. But my grandpa he always he had a garden, grow tomatoes, peppers. And he always grew he called they were banana peppers, but he always said they were sweet. I loved I wanted to be my grandpa. So he was in the kitchen the one day, he's cutting them up and he's just eating them up. And I'm like, well, let me have one. And my grandma's like, red. She called him red. She's like, no. And he's like, what? It's a sweet pepper. So he handed it to me. And I asked, I'm like, it's not hot. No, it's sweet pepper. It's a sweet pepper. And I took a huge bite into that. And, now if I did it, it'd be like eating a pepperoni or something. But
right.
I mean, it lit me up. And I couldn't even tell you how old I was, but I know there was tears and my grandma was yelling at him. And he was just laughing,
And you
going,
remember
wow.
that.
That was
You
my
know,
very first. Yeah.
that was your introduction. Now, listen, Bard, Arwa just gave 3 Chase the Heat memberships. Thank you for doing that, Arwa. Guys,
Very
make
cool.
sure you've clicked there's a little thing that allows you to receive memberships. KM, put it in the chat. Make sure you do that. Thank you so much for doing that. Make sure you're on tomorrow's Bus Pass live stream. You're going to hear a crazy, embarrassing story. Lisa Trimble also asked, what is the spiciest thing that you've ever eaten to date?
I mean, it's got to be any number of those challenges. Raw, I guess, would probably be maybe the Primatali this year.
Rough.
I didn't eat the whole thing. I'll be honest. I'm in no shape to eat a whole Primatali, but I had to eat it to get the flavor of it, so I could get the profile in my head.
Right.
But that was pretty hot. Trying to think, that cross I brought with me to Tad and Kits lit me up pretty good.
That
But
was pretty cool, dude. That was a good cross.
Hottest though, like that would be raw. I guess challenge wise, it'd be between like the cowlick.
Calic
Uh,
is savage, man. That hurt me for a week. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk. I gave you PTSD.
For real.
It did.
Absolutely.
I remember watching you
You know what? I got
giving Tad the
you.
looks he gives you.
Huh?
So you're giving Tad the looks he gives you.
He rode me all week, but I'm not joking. It just hurt my gum so much. That's as bad as it gets, man. I really think it is.
Yeah.
Bizzle's got something that says, sorry, I'm going to switch it up. Ask him what his favorite holiday, because usually he says, what 3 things you're grateful for? It's Bizzle's
Mm-hmm.
question.
Okay.
But what is your favorite holiday for part 1? Part 2, what's your favorite holiday memory, Pat?
Jesus. Did I not? Did you guys not hear me say I don't have a good memory? Just kidding. Favorite holiday is most would probably think it'd be St. Patrick's Day, but it isn't.
No way.
No, no. I mean, when I was younger, I thought it was kind of cool, but I always steered clear of. I was never allowed to skip school to go to the parade. I was never out on doing the all day drink because I always had to work, and then I don't know. It was just a night I avoided. I like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking it, but Christmas, Christmas is probably my favorite holiday. And my favorite memory
Yeah.
from a holiday, I don't know if I have one specific. I'd have to think about that.
I gotcha. All right. So now there's no way to do an interview with Left Eye Pat without discussing the left eye. I'm disappointed in you not to see that you're a pirate with a patch on the eye, says Noah Wright. So if you're comfortable talking about it, let's. If I know you've shared with me the story, but if it's something you're comfortable talking about,
Absolutely. Yeah, I would wear an eye patch. I did wear an eye patch after the accident for a while. And I would wear one if my eye was like going bonkers all over the place. Like,
right.
I just would. Or if it wasn't there, I would. But luckily, it's still my eyeball. I just can't see out of it. So, what happened was in 2009.
By the way, it's kind of a grisly story, just so you know.
Well, I won't share the pictures. Okay. But there's a cool story with that. I asked them on the operating table to take pictures of what I look like because I never got to see what I look like. So they took some pictures of before, the after, during. The one nurse is my mom's neighbor. She's a great lady. But anyway, I was working for a door company and we were putting brush sweeps on. We were changing like the weather seal. We'll call it just a weather seal on a revolving doors in this nice building downtown. And I was literally I went and I plugged in my grinder with the cutoff wheel on it. And the first outlet I had no power, right by where the door was. So I went up the hill, plugged it in, turned it on, and the blade broke. And all of a sudden it was just like getting hit in the face. Like it felt like a baseball bat hit me. And then just the amount of pain was undescribable. I hit the ground like holy sh. I said a lot of things, but I'm like I had no idea. Like I knew this went in my eye, and I'm just like this, like screaming nothing but obscenities, and and like I was working with this kid. The whole story is a little spiritual, so bear with me on it. I was working with this kid. He just got out of the Air Force, and he had served over in Iraq, I want to say, or Afghanistan, one of the two. And it was just luck because he didn't last with us long. I never worked with anybody. It was just, he was my helper for the day. And as soon as it happened, he comes running over and he's like, let me see. And I'm like, dude, is my eye there? And he just looked at me and he's like, here. And he just put the towel back. Like he had a towel. I don't know where the hell he got it, but put this over, just hold it. He didn't tell me. I don't think he could tell if my eyeball was there.
Yeah, I'm sure he
could. So it was crazy because this was this is right where everybody. It's like a corridor connecting the parking garage into this like downtown office building, and everybody's coming in, and now there's a crowd, and I'm still screaming. People have got 911 going. Um, and I remember this lady. I couldn't tell you what she looked like. I had no idea. I was just on the ground, and I feel this hand on my arm, like on my shoulder. And she says, "Sir, do you mind if I pray for you?" I said, "No, please do." And I put my hand up, and she held my hand. She said this prayer. Blah blah blah. Go to the ambulance comes, hospital. What happened was is it cut my optic nerve. I'll get back to that lady, but it cut my optic nerve, so it went in like on my the bone, your orbital bone above,
Yep.
and then down to the side orbital. So it went like that, and I had no idea. It was just I never passed out. I wish I would have. People say, "Oh, your body shuts down after so much pain." I'm like, I don't think my body got the call. They didn't get the
Right.
memo.
Yeah.
So it was like a 24 hours of just 18 different doctors coming and looking and coming and looking. And they finally told me I wasn't going to be able to see again. And I lost it. And I mean, I had a bunch of people around me and stuff, but they gave me the surgery. I was able to keep my eye. It never punctured the eye, but if you were like an optometrist and you look through the thing, they can see the track that the blade took. So it stopped like 2 centimeters away from going into my brain through here. Like one day I'll have to let you feel it. There's it's
We're
filled
good.
in, but there was a good dent in there.
We're all set. I don't need to feel that. But do you remember, Pat, do you remember when I had that thing a year ago and I kind of croaked in my kitchen? I really struggled with that. You were really instrumental with that because you kind of went through something. Remember when we talked? Um, I remember you telling me that you sort of went through some stuff afterwards as well. But that's heavy duty, man. So it was
Yeah,
that close for you
it
not
was.
being here at all.
I guess so. I mean, there's just so many pluses to take away. There's the fact that I was able to keep my eyeball, that it didn't puncture. It didn't totally sever the nerve, but it did enough damage to it that, like, your optic nerve is, think of it like a rope. It's millions and millions of strands all.
Kit wrote that. You know, Kit wrote that, right?
I never there. I can see it coming from both of them.
Right?
So there's a lot to take away from that, and then I came home, and I think like what set my tone was, there's two paths when something like this happens to you. Yeah, definitely, Jason. You can go the poor me route, or you can go the yeah, this sucks, but what are we gonna do about it route? And luckily, I have friends that are not. I don't know. They're a holes. They just are. And I come home. I pull up Facebook, and the first thing I see is from a very good friend of mine, just old friend. We grew up together. He's like, "Hey, I found your new Facebook profile picture," and it was Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc., the one-eyed green guy. And I'm like, really? It's been 24 hours, and he goes, "What? Too soon?"
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And
So let
that
me
is
ask you a question. Do you see any light? Can you see anything?
it's so hard to explain. It's called light perception. So they gave it like a 5% light perception. If anything, it's almost a hindrance because it almost like each eye sees 2/3. So you get your peripheral when they cross. So I have no not peripheral, depth perception. I'm sorry. So I have no depth perception, but what I do see, it actually comes from this side of the eye, but there's the little bit of, I'll call it a light, but it's really not. It's just it's so hard to explain. Cut like hits here. So if I close this eye, I see better. There's somewhat of like a. It's so hard. I don't know how to explain it, but
No,
no, it's useless vision, as they would say. Like I couldn't. I might be able to catch your silhouette, like but I won't be able to grab it or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, so
But
have you've adjusted fairly well? I mean, how do you now?
I mean, I still walk in a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? But
And every time I'm with you, I feel bad. Now I shouldn't do that anymore. Every
no,
time I'm
no,
with
no.
Kat, I walk up, I tap under the shoulder, like, "How you doing, dude?"
The first time you did it, I think it was in San Diego. You're just, and I mean, you had me because I'm like, I looked, I didn't see you, and you did it again. I'm like, oh, that's good.
I got you. I got you.
I look forward to that because I
Yeah.
try
Well, I mean, it's like true friends, man. True friends. Um,
to.
Now, this is from before, but Captain Capsaicin says that my first experience with cap cramps was one chip challenge in 2023. Did the challenge on my lunch break. Oh, right there, that's a problem. I had cap cramps for about 2 or 3 hours after I ate the chip. Do you know if we all collectively had a nickel for everybody who ate a one chip challenge on a lunch break or break at school and had a tap out for the rest of the afternoon, we'd be set. It's happened to a lot of people, I think.
I'm blown away by the amount of people that do certain things at work or
Right.
whatever. Like, I'd be done.
KM asks, "What do you mean by getting the profile of the pepper in your head?" Sorry,
The
newbie question.
flavor profile. So it's kind of like a flavor burn profile. So I make like powder blends. You know this.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I just don't like. I try to put some thought into it, and so I taste all the peppers I grow, and then I think about the flavors. What will go good with with what I have? What can I make with what I have that's going to taste good? Uh, I actually kind of go for a flavor out of the powder, not just the heat. And then I also try to, how hot is that pepper? So if I'm going to add that hot of a pepper to another hot pepper, then it just becomes, that's for a certain group of people. You know what I mean? So I try to balance that out and sort of have like I was thinking of Kristen actually. I think like which one am I going to give her? You
I was
know?
wondering that. I was wondering that because I've had a bunch of your powders. And I'm like, she's kind of a newbie, but the funny thing about it is powder. It's different than sauce. You can go real light.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But she's a chili head, bro. She's got the bug, man. She's got the bug. Okay, let's see here. A few more questions. Jeremy Fowler says the leg lamp pick, legendary. Is there a story to that besides the original? LOL.
It's just there's no story. It's just my favorite Christmas movie. Um, I've got a mini leg lamp uh, next to my couch that I use every night. It's just the best Christmas movie, and it was filmed in Cleveland, or it's supposed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we got the Christmas Story house. I think it just sold, but they had it up, and you could go through it, and the whole 9 yards. The high school, like it's just such a great movie. And then plus people, I had one friend that used to like to call me Scott Farkas. So yeah,
Nice.
it wasn't. It really wasn't. I didn't like that one.
That bothered you?
He
Well, it's
was
like
such.
this. For people wondering, you drive, you shoot like a champ.
Oh, well, I can still bowl. I can still golf. What I can't do is catch. Like I can't throw a football with you. I can't throw a baseball with you. I could toss a football and a baseball,
But catching is the
but
problem.
but if you put any kind of mustard on it, like I look like just like because
You know what? I
it's
did that once. I was at my fraternity house. I, I was playing catch on the front lawn with a baseball, and was looped, and I was throwing the ball with this dude, and he was like it was like on a rope. He was zinging it, and he threw the ball. I watched him release it, and then it was in my glove, and I don't remember any like it just was there. I put the glove off, put it down, and said, "I'm done." I
I'm
never,
done.
but I'm serious. It could have got me in the grill. I never saw it. It was it's crazy. So I don't blame you there. All right, so let's get into growing a little bit because I'm kind of fascinated. You are a grower, my dude.
A hobbyist in all these forms. Yes,
That's right. Tell me how you got into that, and what are you growing currently, or what's
the
going on with
growing the growing kind of just manifested, and I think it's just part of like a chili journey in a way. you know,
Yeah,
I mean, it went from hot sauce to challenges to hotter challenges to how far can I go with these challenges to I started making hot sauce. That came after, I guess. I don't know.
I
I
think you hit it
started.
on the head. It's part of the journey.
Yeah, it's just my grandpa always had a garden. This is my grandparents' old house, and he always had a garden and always did well. And I just one year I'm like, I was so into it, and I wanted to start making hot sauce. I'm like, well, let's grow some peppers. So I went to a nursery and bought what was supposed to be Carolina Reapers, habaneros. I think those were the only two, maybe my first year. And the Carolina Reapers turned out to be these ahi dulces, which is
Oh,
why
okay.
I mean it's like a zero heat, flavorful. Like just you throw it in your salad. There's my mom thinks they're hot. She smacked me when I gave her one.
Really?
I truly thought they had no heat, and I'm like, here, I'm telling you, mom. And she never trusted me with this stuff, and she finally does, and she eats
Burn
it.
mom. I've never done that to my mom. So I have a question. You do know that the peppers that we ate in the music video with Chris Higby were the orange long tail scorpions you grew.
Yes,
They
yes, I
were
do.
they were delicious and had such a weird, strange delay burn. That's the reason we showed
Wasn't
you
it?
that. Well,
That
yeah,
was
they were delicious, man.
sitting on Tad and Kit's back porch, and we eat them, and I'm like, man, I was almost embarrassed. Like, wait a minute, this looked
What?
like a scorpion pepper. How is there no heat to this? And then I've never had a pepper like it ever. That
And
was
we weren't quite sure. We had to Google it. But you know what though? How many varieties are you growing currently?
last year. This year, I just gave Jessica my list. I'm cutting it down to three or four. I'm going to concentrate on the 7-pot primos,
Nice,
7-pot chocolates,
nice.
the Sugar Rush peach, and Prima Tallies. That's what I'm going to grow this year.
You're so psyched about the sugar rush peach. They're so
I love
delicious,
that picture.
bro. Oh man, you can.
Yep.
Those are. The problem with that is you can strip a plant like one of those. Remember the worms, the hornworms. You can
Yeah.
go in and eat all the peppers in 10 minutes. They're so delicious, man.
It's such a versatile pepper. It's got decent heat to it. It's got super good flavor. It's a good crunchy pepper. It's a thick walled pepper.
That's why it's so juicy because it's so thick. There's so much moisture in it.
Those
Great
those do those do well here. So
Hey, did you get any warthog seeds, bro?
no, but you know what I am?
Do you want some warthog seeds?
Maybe next year.
I'll
I've
send you
already
some.
got it mapped. So she just started her. Jessica's my pepper partner in crime. You met her in Erie.
She's great. She's very cool. I've
But
had a bunch of her products actually.
she's given some jams. She makes amazing jams, and she makes pretty good hot sauces. That her pineapple mango scorpion sauce it's in my top two. It's just so
You
good.
guys are a good team, actually.
Yeah, she's awesome. I've known her for 15 years now. I want to say
Very
it's
cool.
been a while, and we never knew. Like I didn't know until the last 5 years that she was into spicy stuff too. You know what I mean? We were laughing about it. We're like, wait a minute, you are? I'm like, I just got in it. She's like, I've been in it. I'm like, what? We've known each other. Yeah.
It's really funny how there's so many people that just sort of taste it. Next thing you know, they dive into it. I hate to pick on Kristen Melinda, but she's a good example. She's really into it, man.
Yeah.
They're trying, but there's an excitement there, trying new things and finding out what you like. And you realize there's this massive world of hot stuff way beyond Tabasco. You know what I mean? Well, you know what I mean? There is. And it's just very, very cool. So speaking of Kristen Melinda, because she's a quirky girl with a great quirky question. If you were a pepper, What kind of pepper would you be, Pat, and why?
Interesting
It's a
question.
great question.
There's so many peppers. Man, I don't know. It'd definitely be between like the sugar rush peach, just because I love the pepper so much. But maybe I would be an orange long-tailed scorpion, just kind of mess with people, because I like messing with people. So
That sounds like
maybe
a
I think I'd be
pepper.
that pepper. You know, give them
It'd be
that
a
false
good one.
security, only to come knocking at the door.
Since we're on the pepper topic, Brian asks, "What pet flavor wise? What is your favorite?" I think he just kind of answered it. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah. Sugar
If
rush.
you haven't ever had one, you guys, you really need to try it. It is a spectacular pepper. It really is delicious. Have you had the Sugar Rush Stripey yet?
I got to try one in the UK. Stephen Dixon gave me. He had them. I'm looking at them like, man, that is just it looks like candy. Like
Like something you find in a candy dish, right? It doesn't
oh
look
yeah,
real.
that's got to be the best pepper in the world, and it
It,
was.
it's so good. It's so good. And the funny thing is, like visually, it's such a stunner, man. It's just like, wow. I remember the first time I saw it, I'm like, I couldn't believe it existed. I was like, what?
Yes. Yeah. Is
It's
this
just
CGI?
amazing. So it's a funny thing. Since you brought up UK, I was going to go a little bit later, but let's talk about that because one of the spectacular things about peppers, it does bring people together, but also enable you realize it's everywhere. Like I've been afforded the opportunity to travel around the world a few times,
Yeah, you've been to
not
some
just
cool.
in the US, but literally around the world. But you that's what I meant when I said you really stretched out. You're everywhere. You've done a lot of traveling in the US. I've been with you in shows in Pennsylvania and both
Same.
coasts. I mean, we've been around. But you had an opportunity to go to the UK. Now,
Yeah,
I had been there already a few times. So all the people, I kind of all the yep.
that shirt is from 2020. That's you and Shen's battle in 2020. If you
I
guys
remember,
all find it.
but because of my experience over there, I know all the people that you hung out with. I know. So tell me if you can. I mean, I know you had a great time. We've talked about it a bunch. I've seen pictures, but the people that were watching haven't. So if you could tell us a little bit about your UK experience and how did that come together?
Well, going back to like I say I was doing lives in Facebook groups and stuff, and I think the first chili group I got into was the NEUK group.
Yep.
And back when it was there were challenges getting done every day, so it was fun. It was Stu Walker, Grandpa Stu himself, like
Great must
you
do.
know, he gave me this mug during my visit. It's like that's the only one I got too. He gave me a shirt, his Grandpa Nuke shirt. So I started making friends. I was already friends with Shahina and Paul, and then I've court through there because it's an England group, I guess. I say I had more friends, and I had really more or less gotten close to a few of them. And so I'm like, I'd love to come there. I really wanted to go see Paul and Shen. I really wanted to go hang out and just like meet them in person. I hadn't met them in person yet, but we had been friends for years now, through socials. Tony, Adele, Stu. I got to meet Charlie, Kevin Tilley. I got the list goes on. I mean, it goes on. So I had a Coke jar of just change, and I counted it up. There was almost $1,000 in there, and that was it's what I used to go. And I arranged it with. I was talking to Paul, and I said I want to come surprise Shahina for her 100th competition, because at that point she was kind of on track for that. And he's like, man, I don't know when it's going to be. It's going to be hard and this and that. And finally he's like, Shahina doesn't really like surprises. So he goes, if you just showed up to our house without her being able to prepare, she'd be upset. So I said, all right, we'll let her in. So we arranged.
Shot you the straight dope. That's because Shen now. Bet she would not be happy with that.
Oh man, we were at dinner one night and I was trying to pay the bill and she scared me. She would not let me pay. I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm not gonna argue with you. But that was the whole motivation. So I spent a few days with Paul and Shen, and then I traveled up and I spent like a day with Stu in Leeds, and then headed up all the way north to Hartlepool, where Tony and Adele live.
Right.
And then came back and got to. I mean, geez, I mean, like I still pinch myself. The whole thing was just so surreal. It was the most surreal trip ever. But there was, I think it was Windsor. Was it Windsor? Wiltshire? One of these festivals. She was competing. We had a booth in here, so I was working the booth with Matt Tangent, having a blast. And we show up the next day, and I see my name on a card on the booth, and I'm like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh, you're in the pepper eating contest." I'm like, "No, I am not in the pepper eating contest. I don't eat peppers. I'll do challenges. I don't eat peppers. That's not my." So he basically kind of forced my hand. We needed some people anyway, and it was pretty cool because it was Laura Saunders went up there with me because Rick put her name down. He erased his down. Shen was up there, and Vicky Beams was up there. Alex was putting out the stuff, and it's one of the it's a moment I'll never forget. I was out in like fourth.
You said Vicky was there. Was Alex there?
Yeah, he was handing out the peppers.
He's great.
Isn't
All
he?
of them are great, man. They really are. Fun crew.
So I went out fourth, and then I came back in, and Shen had got Naga Claw. And it was like, as I was coming back through the curtain, I could hear Matt talking about it, and she needed somebody to give her peppers. So I'm like, well, I'll do that. I'm right here, and I would love to. So it was her, and I feel bad. The guy is such a nice guy. I can't remember his name. Hell of a chili head. They're head to head. And that's when I saw, for the like up close and personal, tears coming out of her eyes. The I can't do this, I can't do this, the shaking, the what you don't really see on the camera. And
she's tough. She's a beast, man. She's a thug.
I love what do you call thug, right? And she's a thug.
She's a chili pepper thug. She is, man. Here's what's troubling about it. She fools you. By the way, real quick, Jane Aldrich, can I tell you what a rock star you are? Thank you so much. Yeah, listen, she just donated 10 Chase the Heat bus passes, you guys. Please, seriously, I'm going to tell, I don't know if I ever told you the story. I'm going to tell a horribly embarrassing university hospital story tomorrow. So you don't want to miss it. It's going to be probably around noon. But thank you so much, Jane, for doing that. The whole experience in the UK, man, but getting back to Shahina, man, here's the thing with her. She, true or false, you've seen every challenge, almost every contest she ever has. There's just one moment where you think this is it. She's going to lose. She's going to lose this time.
How is she going?
You're right. If you don't see, if you're not right there, you miss a lot of it. The camera doesn't get a lot of it.
Well, she used to get a lot of like people. She's a lot like, she's been in your shoes. She's had to deal with the social bullies. I mean, and like it just ungodly stuff. But a lot of she's faking it. And I'm like, it used to make me mad. And then like when I saw it, I think I made a post about it. It just irked me because she truly just pushes, just the refuse to lose. It's amazing.
It has this. It's like I say, it's like a different gear in a car, and that gear is this: I'll die today before I lose, and I don't have that gear, man. It's like I'd like to see the sun tomorrow. I don't want to die today. And I think she's just an animal.
One of the most incredible things about it, like I said to her once, I said, what's crazy is like, people do a pepper eating contest once, twice, maybe 10 times and be like, all right, that's enough for me. 97 and still like all that's like, and not just refusing to give up until she hits that 100. And it's just like, I don't know. So many, I couldn't do it. I don't have that in me. I don't. My hat is off to her. I love her. She is such a good person.
Do you know she really is? Do you know how scary it is though to do the contest that she does, because there's that new person syndrome. It's like the guy who goes to a casino, never gambles before, sits down, he's gonna go home with money if he's smart because he always win, But there's always somebody who's never done a contest before, and they don't know how hard it is. You've seen it, I know you have. There, two or three. She's come really close a couple times at people who have never done a contest before. So,
oh yeah,
but to know you're putting it on the line every single time. 97 of them, 3 of them are yours truly, man. And I gave her my all.
Those were brutal.
So you were with us when we were in Erie. We did a grenade. That one. Have you ever seen Paul? I mean, was Paul not like a 14-year-old kid?
You could hear it. It's too bad you couldn't see it like on the camera, but hearing it is. I've never heard him laugh like that.
I've never heard anybody laugh like that. That was insane. I'm like dying, and the worse I got, the more he laughed. That was great. But aren't they the most wonderful people, though?
I would take bullets for both of them. Yeah. And nobody aggravates me more than Paula. And that's right. He is relentless. Yeah,
humor though. My God, can you imagine if you lived near him? But spray the horse. So, a quick question here. I got another question from Lisa. You told us the peppers you love and what you groove on. Everybody's got a pepper you hate. What pepper don't you like, Pat?
I'm going to split this into 2 things. Flavor-wise, I do not like 7-pot. I don't like chocolate pods, period, but like I don't like earthy pods. So I grow 7-pots, not because of the flavor, but like I won't eat them. But I know they're great for chilies. They're great for they give food a great flavor.
Right.
The one I hate the most for the burn, believe it or not, are habaneros.
It makes total sense to me.
I hate
do you know how many people have given up the chili game because of a habanero?
Oh God, I can imagine.
It doesn't burn, it stings. And and people know how people think. They're like, oh my God, if that stings me like this, what is a ghost pepper gonna be like?
Yeah.
Other peppers burn. The Hobbs don't, man. They just sting the crap out.
They taste great. I like the flavor of them. I love habanero hot sauces. God, it's like having you just stuck your mouth over a hornet's nest, just invited them all to come in.
It's rough, man. It is rough. It's rough. Every once in a while, you'll get a habanero sauce that has a sting to it, and that's a beautiful thing when it translates into a sauce. Is there any pepper that you have eaten that you never would again? Never again. I love the never again one. There's got to be one. Or maybe a challenge. Because you've done so many challenges, bro.
Yeah, that's like I've always been more of a challenge guy. Like I've never.
What do you think of the UK, the Queen 2? Good Lord, that was a horrible one.
I did not. I have it, but I have not done it. The Killer Queen. The second
it sucks.
The first one tore me up, but I like the flavor of the first one. But no, I haven't done the second. I haven't been out of practice.
Jip did like 1,000 of those or something. Did he do something stupid like 24 or 21?
20 or 22 or something like in a row, and I think he was full. He's a beast.
He is. He's such a savage. I don't think. And the other funny thing is he downplays it so bad.
He does.
He pretends he's just Jiff the fireman, and when really he's another thug. He really is, bro.
He turns into he's a full Jekyll and a Hyde when it comes to burning people.
Boy, isn't it?
But then he's
I can't wait to do that to him again. So you've done a ton of challenges. You really have. What challenge did you enjoy the most? Asks Arwa.
Oh, geez. Back in the day, purely because they were kind of easy and they tasted all right. I earned a lot of points through the League of Fire chug versions.
Oh yeah.
So my least, oh, the challenge I like the most. So that one was good. I'm a chocolate guy. The V1 from Late for Work was
Right.
very tasty, hot
Right.
as hell. I mean, that was really good. Believe it or not, though, I really enjoyed the toffee nuts from
Oh, they're
Harvard.
great. Oh yeah, they're great on ice cream.
Those are just
They're
so
so
good. I
good in
mean,
ice cream. Oh,
they're not like a high point challenge or anything, but I think my least favorite challenge was the V3 for sure.
that
That
was gonna be
was
my next question. That was your least favorite? How come?
just absolutely disgusting, and it was hot. Like it was.
Absolutely disgusting. Tell us how you really feel, man.
It just, I think there's videos of that. That one was Shen had given it to me and I failed, and I was so mad that I failed. Like I was coming down to the wire. I don't know how many seconds were left, and it just came up.
Oh,
Um, the second, so when I redid it, it took me like 5 months. That was the first PTSD I had. That took me 5 months to go revisit. I wanted to make sure I was good and ready for it, and that one
oh,
was just brutal. It was a brutal. It nailed your belly like right off the rip. Ugh.
I hate that. Well, I'll tell you the first 3 months of the channel, I think I did. I tried, stupid as can be, but I tried to drink a case. Remember when I tried to drink a case of hot sauce? It was dumb,
Mhm.
but it was Fear This from Hellfire.
Didn't you
I
pour it in
could
a
eat it.
bowl?
Yeah, I could
Yeah.
eat it if I put that on a taco or something. I'd be good with it. Like I would enjoy it. But the idea of like I could never do a challenge with that again. I could never do it. It was a dumb
Straight
idea.
up.
It was stupid, and it was a couple of years before I could eat it again.
Dude,
Even a dash of it, just the thought of it was just like, ugh, no
well,
way.
I mean, you were taking things to extremes.
I was
So
yeah, I was
I can see that.
a little reckless at the beginning.
A little reckless.
I was trying to make listen, bro. I was trying to make a name for myself, man.
You did. You certainly did.
Bizzle says that someone needs to call a sauce reburn. It needs tincture, so it definitely hits. That's an interesting thought.
Reburn.
A hot sauce with tincture in it.
I've never had tincture because of the
Oh yeah, yep. That's
alcohol
right.
aspect, but
You
so I
know,
couldn't tell you. Does tincture even have flavor to it, or is it just
well, there's tincture. That's yeah, you bet.
yeah?
Yeah, and I mean, so, Broom makes flavored ones like orange and lemon, but the regular pepper ones are just super pepper forward. You gotta really dig peppers, or you're not gonna groove on it. It's just kind of that simple. You know what I mean? But that's something we're not gonna. Let's see. Let's go here. Noah Wright asks, "What is your favorite hot sauce and favorite pepper?" His favorite pepper is the Sugar Rush peach. He answered that earlier before. You must not have been here for that one. But as far as sauce, what is your currently what is it? Do you have a favorite sauce?
I do. I still have to give it to. It's between Jessica's sauce, or I really like the Chili Project's Badass Badger sauce. I
Is that
I've
Steve
got a
Dixon?
sweet tooth. I like sweet sauces, so
The Chili
uh,
Project. That's not Stephen Dixon, is it?
no, that's Rick Saunders,
Rick Saunders. That's right.
Rick and
He's
Laura.
hilarious, dude.
He
I'll tell
is.
you what, man. Listen, he's one of the funniest people. He's a madman.
I
Have
gave
you,
him a
you hung
nickname.
out with him? Huh?
I can't. I gave him a nickname I can't say on your channel.
Did you know? I'm sure it's fitting as can be.
It is. He's
He
so
did some
fun.
stuff. You remember when the pandemic happened? He was doing some videos that were so crazy. They were funny as could be.
Some of them I'm a moderator still in Nuke, and at that time, like Rick and Laura would be having a good time, and you just like they'd put it up there, and I'd be like, well, I'll leave it up for a few hours, but I got to take it down.
That's like, man, oh man.
But I mean, only because of the group's rules. Otherwise, I mean, classic funny stuff. Just good time, people. Good time.
Well, everybody over there is like that. I mean, really, it's I wish I could go there once a year, just every single year, go there for like a week or two. But the
Dude, I'm
weather
bummed
is
out
hard.
back.
The weather is so bad.
You got to go in the summer. You know what I
I think
mean?
all the time I've been there, I think I saw the sun one day. It didn't. It was real short. But no, I'm being serious. You know, you just don't see the sun. It's overcast and
I
gloomy
must have
all
been
the time.
lucky. I went in September. When did you go?
I don't remember. I have to go look at the videos. I'm just like you. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I have to recall stuff. You gotta be kidding me. You know what I used to do? I'll defer to KM. Kristen, when did I go to the UK the first time? What month was it in? It's funny because she'll find it. She's like really quick. Don't do that. Please don't go search for that.
Oh, Kristen's amazing. I watched her mod while you were interviewing her. I'm like, I'm not trying that.
Right? Dude, she's amazing. She's fun as could be. I love her. All right. So Noah asked, does a Sugar Rush peach have a peachy taste, and what's the heat?
No, it doesn't really taste like peach. I mean, keep in mind too, like taste is so subjective. So don't take what I say is everything. You know, it might what tastes good to me might not taste good to you. It's just a sweet pepper. Not really. It's the peach. It gets its name, the peach, just because of its color. It's a peach colored pepper, but it's sweet. It's like a sweet hot pepper. So if you could sweeten up your heat, that's what it's just. It's kind of sugary, I guess. You know, I don't know what to compare it to, but it's just a very. It's almost like eating a fruit that like eating an orange or something like. Oh, it's that kind of sugary taste, like a natural sugar taste, I guess.
So I have to read this. Jeremy, I went overboard looking for the hottest I could find. I definitely went broke early every month for a year or so buying from online. I had a problem, but I don't do anything halfway. Bizzle sure
Nice.
doesn't. He does not. But you know what, though? If you become
That
his
is a
friend,
rabbit hole.
if you
It is.
become his friend, if you're lucky enough to be his friend, he's not a friend halfway either. He's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's honest with that.
Isn't it funny how, like, when as you start getting into your chili journey, like, all of a sudden, you're rearranging budgets so that you can, I'm going to have to get, like, I was buying sauces, a fridge full of them. I mean, shirts, gear, people sweat, you know what I mean? It's a rabbit hole that you can go down to, and if you're careful, you might not
You
get
know, and
out.
I feel bad because I have been given a lot of free hot sauce, but I buy a lot too. So
Well, I feel
what's the heat level of the Sugar Rush peach? Again, it's subjective. It depends on where you're at. What is it around?
I think it's only around, like, I want to say 150 to 300,000. It's Scoville rating is going to be right around where the habanero is, but the burn's just
Different.
Yeah.
It's such a nice pepper, man. It really, really is. I love that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your next challenge. Do you have any challenges on the horizon for you to do?
It'll probably be those nuts, the toffee nuts.
Yep.
Something to kind of break back into the challenge thing. I had gone through some stomach issues that I wasn't able to get diagnosed for a while, and now that that's finally diagnosed, I'll put it this way: for me to get back into it, it's gonna hurt, but I have a goal. I still want to get to 300 points in the League of Fire.
Right.
I kind of feel bad that I haven't been doing challenges, but I've got all kinds of new ones. Like, I brought home from Erie. And I don't even know the heat levels on some of these, but like the Farana, that one I'm definitely not doing. That's that fish.
It's like fish jerky. It tastes like fish jerky, spicy fish jerky. That's what it is. It's rough.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. the wasapia, which are like wasabi peas, I want to say. The burnt onion, the OMG omaki goad. I don't even know what maki is. I think that's sushi or something. But so we'll see how the nuts go and how everything digests, shall we say?
Gotcha.
And then go from there.
All right,
Oh,
so
once we hit 300, I don't know. I'd like to get back into it. I kind of miss it, to be honest with you.
well,
I'd be lying if I said I didn't think about it every day.
you got to be doing it then. Otherwise, regret comes, and you know what? Regret sucks, bro.
I'm just building myself back up, I guess, like mentally, and I know I'm
I
out of
hear you.
practice. So it's going
So
to be a good
the last time you and I hung out together, we were in Erie. I'm going to be hopefully making a trip soon out there again, and hopefully we can meet. You've got a heart for Harvest. You love Harvest 912. You got.
Absolutely.
It's funny how when you meet them and you see what they do, it sort of seeps into you. Kind of, you know what I mean? It kind of, and I mean, I've watched it happen with Dean. You know what I mean? If you meet them and you go to an event, you kind of see them, it sort of seeps in.
They
They
are
got
as real as they get. You know what I mean? They are what you see is who they are, and that's it to a nut. They are just good people. I absolutely love them. They are just, I don't know, they're just people that you kind of want in your life. You know what I mean?
absolutely. You know what? I feel like the way I feel when I'm in their presence. I don't know
Yeah.
how else to explain it. They're just, you know what I mean? You know that
It's,
they're just their hearts are good and they're every day. It's they matter to me. I love Harvest, but to me, it's you got to remember with them, it's a 24/7 thing.
mhm.
I mean, they wake up Harvest, they go to bed Harvest, and it's like everything in between. So,
Oh
but
yeah.
I'm really excited to be a part of that. So we're going to hang out the next time I'm there, right?
Oh, absolutely. Got to make it happen one way. I mean, I'm only an hour and 40 minutes away from. So
You've
it would
heard
be a
about the
sin
Claymore,
not to.
right?
I'm sorry.
You heard about his Claymore, right?
I remember talk about it. Like, is the question is Kit going to leave us unattended again to come up with these?
Kit just said, "Stop it! You're going to make Tad cry." Kid, if you that's the real question. Are you going to leave us unattended? Imagine like the stress, like she knows. You ever see the emoji "good grief" with a hand in the face? That is just so Kit. It's like every time we're together, she's like, "Would you do
The
this?"
day of the grenade, she comes. This is what happens when you leave three grown men unsupervised.
She said, "No way." She said, "You know what? She'll be there. She'll help us. She'll help us engineer the video to make sure it's all safe."
I love. There's two stories. I love their. I don't know how they started. Their
Oh yeah, their story is amazing. It
that gives
really
you.
is.
If that doesn't give it chills, I mean, I don't know what will. But and then Kit's sailboat with.
Did she tell the story where she almost died?
Yeah.
Is that the one you're talking about?
I mean, it's hilarious the way she tells the story. Like you're
She
like,
tells us fun. She's funny. She's so matter of fact about it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy, but yeah, they're
yeah,
pretty great people. So
they
we
just
definitely are going to be doing more things with them. So that's got to happen. What part of PA are you from? Actually, Ohio, but
yeah.
where?
I'm out of Cleveland. Tan Kit live out of PA. I'm in just outside of Cleveland, and like 10 minutes outside of downtown. A place
Very
called Lee.
excellent. Well, you know what? It's really funny. I've only gotten to like half a dozen questions. It's hilarious. Um,
You know,
so
it's one.
do you eat out a lot? What kind of food do you like when you go out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bachelor, so if I don't take my lazy butt to the grocery store, then yeah, I eat out. Lately, I've been going to the grocery store a lot more, which is just so much cheaper, and you kind of have to watch your money these days. But
You know what?
uh,
It's
if I
hard
eat
when you
out,
live by yourself. It's hard to cooking for yourself doesn't really pay. It sucks.
it's the whole. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I hate going to the grocery store as it is. But when I have food in the house, I'm a very happy man, and I eat all day long. Like you wouldn't know it to look at me. Like you just wouldn't. I'm a skinny dude, but I eat. Like I eat, and
You
so
do.
if
I'm
I
with
eat
you. You do eat. You do eat, but you got to admit your body fat is like 0.0002. You're like beef jerky. If cannibals would pass you up, you would be no good, dude. Seriously, they go after me, somebody a little bit more fluffy. But you are like I give you a hug when I meet. Every time I give you a hug, I'm like, dude, let's get this boy some food.
Can we get a cheeseburger here, please?
Really, seriously, stat. Give this guy a burger.
I mean,
So
when I do eat out there, it's burritos, pizza, Chinese, or maybe like a sub. It's kind of
bachelor stuff.
Pens or Flyers, Blue Jackets.
Blue Jays. There you go.
I'm in Ohio, so I'm a Blue Jackets guy. I actually any Pittsburgh team is just so. For that answer, I'd go Flyers, and I don't even like nothing in Pittsburgh. No offense.
Let's talk music for a second. What kind of music do you like?
It's what you know what I was just jamming out. Like I've been getting back into some old school music, like my old school stuff. Like last night, I listened to Slayer all night long. I like everybody. I like Shinedown. I really like a lot. I think that's I like their lead singer too. Brent. He deals a lot with like mental illness and he's just good people. Cool. You can tell they're kind of cool guys. I like Hailstorm, like newer bands. Those are the only two newer bands. I like Pearl Jam. I'm more of a rock metal kind of guy. I do not like country past Alan Jackson's days, I guess. Anything past him, forget about it. It's not even music to me.
Did you and I are pretty close to the same age. This happened to me. I don't know if it ever happened to you. During the 80s, I remember thinking, man, this music just sucks. Hated it. And now I look back and I'm thinking, dude, every single thing that happened in the 80s was perfect.
It's like your guilty pleasure, isn't it?
Isn't it weird, though? Yeah. So you know what I'm talking about. But during the 80s, I remember thinking, man, 60s music was great. Music is so awful. And it's like now looking back, it's just weird.
Yeah, it's one of my guilty pleasures. So if I've already listened to whatever Howard's been talking about on Sirius throughout the week, and like I go to FM channel, it's the old just all the old classic, like even 80s pop. It's so funny, but catchy. They're terrible songs, but it's catchy.
It's almost like it's almost like what was it? Stormtroopers, the movie Space Troopers or whatever. It's so bad it's good. One of those kind of things. What Dean asked, what is the most annoying song you have ever heard?
Oh God. I think I probably just put it out of my head so fast.
Good move.
Anything Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Nice. Boxers or briefs?
Boxer briefs.
Nice. Switch it up on me there. If you had a choice between being invisible or having the ability to fly, which would you go with?
Fly.
Nice. You're getting too much trouble with the invisibility.
Yeah, I don't need to be invisible.
All right, let me see. I have a few more questions. Does anybody have any last questions from people watching? Oh, here we go. Come on, Pat. How come you don't like Luke? How come you don't like Luke Combs?
I don't even know who Luke is. No, I'm just
kidding. Come on, you know what you do.
I don't even know what's considered country anymore. It's like it's every song sounds the same. Every single song. And I liked Garth Brooks. I liked Alan Jackson. I liked Tim McGraw back then. Willie, of course. And then it just got poppy to me. So like every song sounded the same. I think there's few exceptions. Like Miranda Lambert, I like a lot of her stuff, I guess. If I hear that, she's not bad.
Waylon Jennings, there you go.
What is his name? He does those damn commercials. He's a heck of a songwriter too. Keith God, where's a black hat? I want to say his last name begins with a P. Anyway, that's about it. That's the extent of it. I don't know. Like I heard Beyonce won some country music award, and I'm like, what? Beyonce? I thought she was like Destiny's Child.
She's in. She's some evilness.
Like I don't get the music world nowadays.
Well, is it music at this point?
Dude, I had worked with this kid, and like he's 20, 21 now, and he would be like, dude, what do you think of this song? And he'd play me something, and I'd just be like dead face. And he's what, I'm like, dude, that's garbage, dude. I don't know where's the music? No, what? How do you not like that? I'm like, it's there's not an instrument being played. It sounds like it was all done on a computer. Or there's just
That
like we were
weird.
talking about the guitar solo thing the other night, and it was just like every Slayer song there's one. Iron Maiden, every song. Like I dig that stuff. So
You know what? We're this far from saying, get off my porch. I'm telling you.
Etta, right? Etta from Germany,
Oh
Ice
my
Lady.
God.
She said that to me. She's like, "You're the get off my lawn guy, aren't you?"
You totally are. All right. So one more question. This is one I'm going to end it with Bizzle. He always asks this. You know the question. Three things that you are grateful for, my friend.
My sobriety. Grateful to be alive. And I'm grateful for my family, which when I say family includes like certain friends, you know what I mean? Like your family, Paul and Shen, their family, the guys I grew up with, their family. Those are the three things, and of course my dog. I don't know where he's at.
You're a great dog.
Every dog I've had, I'm a dog guy, so
Well,
he's part of
those
it.
are very good answers. Hey, listen, I'm a big fan. I love you, dude. I'm really glad you took the time to talk with me. You're a
I
rock
love
star.
you.
You're a great mod. We didn't even talk about mod. There's so much stuff we didn't even talk about, but thank you for taking the time to hang with me. You're a great guy. I'm glad glad I'm in your circle.
Dude, likewise. I'm gonna get all sappy here. I love you, man. I don't know, man. You're a guy like our friendship is one of those like I feel like I've known you my whole life, if you will. Like I don't know if it's the parallels that we've had, experiences that are sort of the same or whatever. Some of the roads we went down, but I just like when we first met, like somebody over social media. Then when you meet them, you never know, how it's going to be or what they're really like. And I just feel like it was like picking up where we left off, but we never left off. So it was just I don't know. Like I feel like I've known you my whole life, man.
That's awesome.
It's an honor to have you as a friend for sure.
Well, thank you, dude. I feel very, very much the same way. Here's the great thing. We're just getting started. We got a lot ahead of us. Hey, guys, stick with me just for a minute because I want to talk to you in the studio for a minute. But guys, to everybody who took time to hang out and ask questions, and I thank you so much. Dilrod, thank you so much for your super chat. Bard, thank you so much for the bus passes you donated. And thank you so much, Jane Aldrich, for the bus passes. You guys are all wonderful. And the time you guys gave us tonight, we both appreciate it a great deal. We will see you guys tomorrow. I'm Johnny Scoville, and that is my great friend, Left Eye Pat. And this was After the Burn.
Thank you, everyone.
See you later. And the light's still red. So